find here. For this picture, because I'm half Japanese, and I'm totally open besides in community work, answering any kind of questions, giving you around Japan, if you're interested, so I'm free to reach out to you. I describe myself as a wannabe geek, so I want to be one, but I'm not. I leave this up to Sulamita and Daniel, who are the real technical guys. I'm more on the marketing/communication side. I still try to be an early adopter, which is sometimes working, but not all the time, so I also describe myself as a great early adopter. I used to work for different companies. I worked with Microsoft, I worked with Fujitsu, and now I'm working for 2 years at Intel as a communication manager. If you want to get in touch with me, if you have any kind of questions, want to find out what kind of opportunities we're giving for developers in Germany or Tanzania, the best way to reach me is usually via Twitter, but you can also send me an email. This is the marketing part. So I will really keep it short. I mentioned the Into Developer Zone. This is a global program where we offer developers different kind of SDKs, tools, also APIs, a lot of documentation. And I just wanted to point out two different things. One is the ultimate coder challenge for perceptual computing. So perceptual computing is using the PC or /Ultrabook. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the term Ultrabook. Oh, that's a surprise. So Ultrabooks are small, slim, very nice notebooks. It's a category which was invented by Intel a couple of months ago. And they're very nice, so-called Ultrabook convertible. You can touch and play around with. We're having this perceptual computing. Sorry, let me start again. Ultimate coder challenge for perceptual computing. So perceptual computing is our way to change the way humans are interacting with machines. And you might be familiar with Connect, which is from Microsoft. So we're a little bit similar to this one. We also have a demo on Sulamita will include it into the presentation, and you can also play around with it later on. The Ultimate Coder Going Perceptual Computing Challenge is a challenge with 7 developers writing applications or APIs within 7 weeks, and we're giving them a lot of exposure. So, of course, on our Intel side, but also on Facebook, they're being judged by bloggers like Sasha Pallenberg or Chippy from Ultracode. So this is a very nice way from our side to give them some kind of visibility. That's one thing. The other thing is the perceptual computing challenge. This is entering phase 2. We're still fine-tuning this stuff, but stay tuned. You can look up the information on the perceptual.intel.com, or you can ask me afterwards if you want to. So the marketing part is over, and I would like to hand over to Sulamita with the technical part and consolidate around user experience. Thanks. You want to use the mic?
Yeah. Should I change here so I can show the perceptual?
Hello, good evening. Hi, I need to see and stuff. So, I got it right. You guys don't know much about Ultrabooks? July. Okay, so it's nice. I have just 3 slides about it, so to get started, because user experience is something that I am personally very passionate about it, and I'm very happy that Intel is paying so much attention to it now. But it also plays together with the vision that Intel has about ultrabooks and the future of computing.
Here.
But just on the start, I didn't put it right. So my name is Sulamita. I'm Brazilian. I'm from Brazil. I come from an island in the south of Brazil called Florianópolis, and this is the kind of background that I grew up to. I moved to São Paulo, and I was hired by Intel 6 years ago to be open source community manager, and I had a lot of fun. Then I moved to London 4 years ago to work with open source as technical marketing. And then 2 years ago we moved to Haag. Actually, it's not quite Munich, but it's Munich Kreis, but it's Haag, where you can compare where I started, where I end up. It's a very different scenario. On the weekends I like to sing, and yeah, later on I'm going to explain how I'm mixing my background with the technical and the user experience, but let's start from the beginning. So Intel is actually on the 4th generation of the Ultrabooks. We started 1 year ago when we bring in new systems. You have a couple of examples in here. So an Ultrabook, so I have here my desktop, my workstation, which is an Ultrabook, which the first thing you notice is very thin and very light. It's stylish. There is a lot of colors, different form factors, but it's not just thin and light. It's actually quite responsive. It has the latest generation of Intel Core, so the performance is what we expected. And the battery life, we're aiming for a full day battery life, and it's getting better and better. And with this new generation, the new processor, the Ivy Bridge and the Center Bridge, they bring in new features that are going to promote the use of sensors. Touch is already required for 2013. We have the new convertibles, detachables. You can detach, you can turn it around, you can transform it into a tablet. And there is a lot of things about sensors as well. So it's multi-touch, you have accelerometer, you have location, you have ambient sensor light, you have compass, gyroscope, near-field communication, and this is going on, and the performance is not just that. And so, for instance, what I wanted to show you this computer is, Monica mentioned perceptual computing. What perceptual computing means is to have a more natural interface with your computer. So I have a 3D camera in here, and the perceptual computer is working with this creative camera. And this is sort of a kinetic, but in close range. So instead of detecting just limbs or the profile of the people, it can actually track fingers. And now just track my fingers around. You can actually track up to 10 fingers. And in the samples later on in the break, I can show you more samples and more examples. We have face recognition, face detection, gestures recognition, a lot of stuff. So this is what we're bringing to the market to bring more capabilities, because we have a powerful processor, we have new technology, we have established and more battery. But what this also means is the user expects everything to work. If you bring touch to a desktop, the user is going to expect that everything around is going to be able to touch. If you have GPS, it's going to be want the software to react to the GPS, to the location. So it's not just about the performance anymore, or of course the performance, the battery, the security is important, but the user wants things to be touchable, they want you to speak naturally, not to give commands when you're using voice or using natural speech. The user friendliness, that it's easy to use, it's easy to learn, and all this. So how can we actually address all this? And that's the proposal that I have for user experience. And how can we integrate that on software? And I noticed that everything now is about user experience. So let's start by putting the record straight. What do we believe that is user experience? User experience by for Intel, it's the definition is an experience is what a person, can be anyone, a person, thinks, feels, and perceives. It's very psychological, it's very subjective. Think, feels, and perceives before, during, and after using a product or service. So it starts from the before, it starts from the expectation, from the marketing messages. So what is the person thinking before finding your service or finding your product? During, what is the experience like? And after, what this person is going to remember about it. And there is a lot of things that play in that, because if you have high expectations and then you don't deliver a person that's going to remember that your product or service fell short, or if there is problems, the human mind is going to remember the problems much more than the nice things there was. So there is a lot of things in place on that. Since we have a short time, and so that's why I started studying psychology as well, because how can we begin to approach the engineering, the sciences with the psychology? So that's the approach, trying to understand the person, because the user is on the center of the experience. Since we have short time, we're not going to be able to cover everything. I'm just going to select a few things. There are other process of design, but one that is becoming more and more the standard, and most of the people are using, is the UserCentric Design. And it's quite self-explanatory. The user is on the center of the whole process. So I think we can define this user-centric design by four phases. First one is really know your user. The second one is prototype, spend some time prototype. Then you go to the part that everybody has fun, either coding the software or designing. And then, of course, testing and refine. And just let's see a little bit of each one. A lot of people would like to think that the user is everybody in the world. But everybody in the world is a lot of people. And they're in different scenarios, and they have different needs. Your user might be shielded in an office, very nice, with a very high-speed internet connection. But it might also be someone that is on the transportation, trying to entertain themselves, trying to do or to be productive on the way to work or the way to some place. It can be trying to achieve something else. It can be trying to achieve a better education, to achieve something that is it's very meaningful for the life of this person. And in areas like in Africa, where internet connection is still very difficult. Or they might be sharing with a lot of people in their homes or in their office. And in different cultures, it means different things. So in the Occidental, the Western, yeah. In our part of the world, I get confused with Portuguese and English and Spanish. We value individuality. We want. There is this quote that says that the Walkman was very important in the United States because people could listen to the music they want without being bothered by anyone else. And in Asia, people were very happy because they could listen to music that they want without bothering anyone else. So there is two very different perspectives. So people in some part of the world value community much more than individuality. So people, know your user, it's going to help you to start designing what exactly is the best experience for this user. Prototype. And when we run the application labs, it's very nice to see how in just 5 minutes you can start to addressing problems with just pen and paper, because it doesn't take much more to prototype. Just design something. You can use anything you can use, and of course I forgot to say, if anyone has any questions, anything, I actually have some nice props just to get you guys more motivated. So it doesn't take much to prototype. You can, have some dolls or have some paper or have anything that you would like to just create a situation and start drawing and start designing. And then you get your ideas rolling, and you can actually, for instance, if you go into a client, you can show, so this is what we're thinking, and they can say, yeah, that's I start on, no, that's not actually the problem that I wanted to solve. It's very useful. And then, of course, propose and refine. And then, if you spend a good time on that, and you really feel that you actually understand your user and you have a good idea of design, this is going to be much more enjoyable. Because when we end this part about developing, you're not going to find out that you actually have to start from the beginning or start changing everything, hopefully. But there is a lot of researches and studies that show that actually the investment that you have in here is much better and used than if you ignore the other phases. And of course, you go to the last phase, that is test and refine. And this is where usability is going to show itself. So usability, it's also very important on a good user experience. And it means efficient to use and also easy to learn. And easy to learn cannot be stressed enough. So this is my favorite example, the cut the rope. Because with a very simple, very subtle thing, it's showing the user exactly what it has to do in this interface. It's just a little hand going through the screen, and the user is going to imitate that, and he knows what it's had to do. It's just swipe there, and then it's going to interact with the system. And that makes the user feel empowered and feel like he's actually having fun on that. So this is 4 things about the user-centric design, and just to remember, this is a lot about people. And so I would like to talk a little, just 5 things that I think you should know about people. There is a lot of lists, there is a lot of books from 200 to 100 things that you should know about people. But let's start with just 5. So people don't want to think or work more than they have to. So when you're thinking about features, think about, does my user really need this feature? Or does the user really need to know the port of the proxy and what is going to be the TCP size? Or do I really need, the user really needs to select 5 types of help to make a question or something? So really think about the features that you want to put in there. People have limitations. The story that we are multitasking is not true. We only hold 3 to 4 informations at a time in mind. So the best way that you can help your user is actually to make this information very clear, right at the beginning. Take advantage of the best areas on your screen to have the best information. So take a look on this researches. Usually it's on the top right, but not exactly on the top right. There is a little padding in here, about 100 pixels. That is the prime area that in the encoders that read from left to right. That's the first area that people are gonna look at it. So make information very easy to scan. Put it right in there, and the most important information, put it on first. People are easily distracted. So if you put eye tracking systems, you're gonna see that any animation, any noises, anything changing, any banners change, anything, it's gonna distract people, and they're gonna automatically look for that because that's how we are. We are always looking for people moving around or something changing. And if you want people to be distracted in your website or in your application, that's great. Maybe it's a game that people need to be aware that some danger coming. But if you want people to understand some information and to have a flow of actions, be very careful with bright colors, fonts, beeps, or tones. People create mental models. They have ideas about something that might be conceptual. So for instance, the first one is our standard for saving files. But nowadays, how many people do you think actually saw one of these? or know what is it, even so. So there is a lot of, the new generation doesn't even know what is it. And even other people who never were in the industry that doesn't know, maybe saving for them means this other thing, that it's saving life or saving something on the go. So make sure that you understand what is your user thinking about how to find this information. If you match the mental model that people create, they're gonna have more. They're gonna be much more easily around your application. And there is very simple ways to organize information. So for instance, there is a set of principles called the Gestalt. One of my favorites is things that are close together, believed to go together. So in here you have the same set of information. On the right, you have all this information together. And in the left, just by adding some space, you created some organization. You created 3 sets of information. And this is very simple. You don't need to start designing borders or putting a lot of effort on that. Just by adding some simple visual information, the brain is already recognizing that it's 3 sets of information. So there is a lot of things that you can play with color, with shape, with organization, with order that can help you to organize information on the screen. It's very simple and very costless. And why we care all this about people and about user-centric design and knowing your user and everything, it's a lot about establishing emotional connection. We mentioned that what the people are going to remember afterwards is also going to be important. So one of the things that they say that if you show cute pictures, people are going to remember your presentations as well. So I like to try it. I don't know if it's going to work. You guys are going to remember more my presentation because you see my head. But what that also means is going to be the difference from your detractors and promoters. Your promoters are people who are going to leave good reviews. They're going to tell other people that they use your software, it's great, they're going to give you 5 stars, and they're going to blog it or tweet it about it. And the detractors are going to do the opposite. They're going to leave you bad reviews. They're going to influence people that are looking to use your software. And many of those people are just angry because the software didn't work the way they expected or there was some problem. So remembering that things about people and who is your user and thinking more carefully about the whole process makes the difference between happy user and angry user. Some extra research, so if you're interested, the Bible for user experiences don't make me think. There are some other nice information on designing for interaction. I don't know how time I'm running time. Designing for interaction is good for creating the interactions. You know, what is the first thing that your user needs to do, what that's going to result, what's going to be the next step, and what's going to be the result, and for having a nice follow. Emotional design talks about giving this extra extra psychological background on things. You know, why we hate or love everyday things. They talk about it. And one of my favorites, the inmates are running the asylum. So how do we manage to get everything with computers to be so messy? So for instance, how do we manage to get dishwashers that have 30 programs and we only use 1? Or microwaves that have buttons, so many buttons that people don't know how to interact. So, and how can we get back to being simple and being efficient? Little Big Details, it's one of my favorite websites. So what it says, shows you examples of very little things that makes a lot of difference for the users. So for instance, on the YouTube, to celebrate the 1 million likes on the Vegan style video, they created a little GIF that when you like the video, the little guy dances for you. So it's a lot of examples of a lot of software that does this nice details. So, and in the end, just learn how can we raise the bar and thinking about the users and really take advantage of all of these new features that we are making possible with hardware. So If you feel that it's too much, that you would like to get someone, so contact a specialist. Or if you want to know more and put it there on in your process, learn more about user-centric design, immerse yourself in great design so you can get inspired, and just go do something wonderful. So that was about it. Any questions or comments? Okay, so thank you.
What